Welcome back, everyone, to the Angry Chicken. I am Garrett Weinzer, and with me, as always, is Willadils Gregory and Jocelyn Moffat. Welcome back, guys.
Yo! It's just us.
It's just us. We don't have a guest.
For the first time in months, it seems like.
So weird.
I never thought I'd be excited about not having an earth-shattering guest that actually gets us upvotes on Reddit. But
yeah,
but I
mean, I did miss these. I missed TAC Prime? I don't know. This is already TAC Prime, but now it's pure
TAC
TAC Prime. I don't know how you'd say it.
TAC Prime squared.
Yeah, there you go. Sure.
It's the three-piece, man. It's, you go to see Green Day, four other guys show up on stage as opposed to the other three dudes, but you're really just there for the three main dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor other guys in the bit. Like, I actually know the guy, the fourth guy, and he's a really cool guy, but if they have like a photo shoot or something,
he's never
not
in it.
In the pictures.
Yeah. It's just like, so you know that guy?
He's totally in the band now. But
F
he's
that
not
guy.
in any of the pictures.
You know those really fun songs where you have a horn section? F those guys too.
Yep. I mean, I get it, but I always kind of feel bad for that guy.
Yeah,
like, dude, you're in Green Day, man. Except when they're on a magazine cover, then you are not in Green Day anymore.
Well, we are happy to be back, and we actually have quite a few announcements to kick the show off with, so I'm going to dive right into it. First off, you may be wondering why in the world the show is coming to you on, if you're getting this on podcast, probably a Wednesday morning. If you're watching us live, hey, it's Tuesday night at 7:30 Eastern. What the hell is going on? Well, Skype was crazy yesterday, and I had wedding stuff come up, so we're like, you know what? Why don't we just wait till Tuesday to do the show, and hopefully Skype will be working, and so far, it is. So that's why that happened. But... while we're confusing you, the Angry Chicken is now going to be recording live on Mondays 1 hour earlier. So if you are a live viewer of the Angry Chicken, we are going to be recording at 9 p.m. Eastern time, starting next Monday, and for every Monday after that until Dills moves, and we can do it really early so that European
Then we're going to
folks
start
can
doing
tune
it
in.
like 9 a.m. We're just going to be like, all right, morning.
Welcome to Hearthstone in the morning.
Everyone gets their coffee, put a little Bailey's in it. It'd be great.
Oh, hello.
I'm going to talk like this for the
I
whole
have
show.
all the good morning ideas, let me tell you.
Clearly do. All right.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. I want to do a Hearthstone morning show. That sounds like a great time.
Well, I mean, if, Patreon permitting, hey, we could make that a level.
Go to patreon.com/TAC where this isn't even a goal yet.
Yeah, exactly. We're just making up goals on the spot, man.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We are. That reminds
Is that how we
me.
always do it, though?
That reminds me. We do have a new goal we need to put up. That'll be look for that soon. We have a new goal going up soon. Also, speaking of the Patreon, our patron hangout episode for September is going to happen next Tuesday. So a week from today on September 29th at 7:30 p.m. time Eastern. So go check that out. If you're a patron, head on over to patreon.com/TAC for more information. The most important thing, go find the Skype account that we only give out to the patrons. Make sure you add it before the show, and then feel free to call in as many times as you're comfortable with, because you won't cause any issues. We'll add people in at any break in between people calling in. So keep on calling. Talk to you guys next week. Now, Jocelyn, I'm going to pass the mic over to you because you have the Taco Fall update. Beep, 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 beep.
I do. It's this weekend, and I'm really, really excited because it is full. We have a wait list, though. So if you haven't actually signed up yet, you still can, because last time we had about 10 people who are no-shows on the day. So if you are on the wait list, still show up and be ready to play, because you never know who's actually going to be there come 12 o'clock when the whole thing starts. So it's this weekend. You have to have your battle tag and your 3 class choices in your name in the bracket, which you do by using the settings on Challenge. You have to do that by Thursday. If you don't, I will put you on the wait list, because I want to make sure that everyone is able to actually play on Saturday. So if you're in the bracket by Thursday, get your battle tag and your class choices in. Also, make sure on Saturday morning that you check in, which is an hour before start time, and don't start your matches until we finalize the bracket, which is after everyone checks in. So be in Twitch chat. All of this rules, fun stuff, all the updates, everything going on is going to be in the AMove TV Twitch chat. So we'll be there all day. I have some super awesome volunteers helping me out again, so it should be a good time. And that's this weekend. Oh my God.
Yeah, and
Exciting.
Sunday, make sure you tune in to twitch.tv/AMUTV, because all 3 of us, right? Everyone's cool,
Yes.
I think,
Yes.
still.
What time are we doing it again?
It should be around 7 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Yeah. So 7
Sweet.
p.m. Eastern Time, twitch.tv/AMoveTV. Tune in because all three of us will be casting the finals for the Angriest Chicken Open Fall.
I'm so excited.
I am excited too. You know what I'm also excited about is there's another one of these coming very soon in the winter because we're doing 4 of these a year. So I'm stoked.
Yes. And this, honestly, this has been so smooth. It's been super easy. The first taco I did was a little bit nuts, but this has been
Smoothest taco ever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's wow.
You got your soft tacos, you got your crunchy tacos, and you got your smooth tacos.
Yeah.
That first one,
Third option.
the beef fell everywhere. Cheese was nowhere to be found. We couldn't find the diced onions. It was a big mess. But it's almost like when you
Salsa everywhere.
yeah, it's almost like when you do something more than once, you get better at it or something.
That
Yeah.
sounds made up.
Yeah, yeah. So
So yeah, I'm really excited. And I'm really excited to cast with you guys. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. So
Yeah, it should
Awesome.
be cool.
awesome, totally freaking awesome. So again. Angry Chicken, Mondays at 9 p.m. now. Patron Hangout next Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern Time. And do all the stuff that Jocelyn just said for Taco.
Yeah.
Do that.
Everything is
Smooth
posted.
tacos all weekend.
Smooth tacos all
everything
weekend.
is posted on the Challenge Bracket website. So you just have to click the full description and all the rules, all the instructions, everything is all there for you guys. So
Yep.
remember, go sign up. I think we've tweeted the link. There's a post on AMove TV. I'm pretty sure you can search for it on the site. So yeah, just there's tons of ways to find out how to sign up for Taco. So if you want to play, do it.
Do it. You know you can. Are you the angriest chicken? Time to find out.
Oh, and Berserker Gnome, Barbecue Master, is donating a super, super cool, like, Angriest Chicken pint glass. And it's
nice.
all etched with the logo and stuff. It's for the winner. You can't actually buy them. You have to win it. So whoever comes in first gets that pint glass. I want the pint glass, and even I can't have the pint glass.
Are
so.
the three of us will have to pull rank and tell him, excuse me, sir, you need to make 3 more. I mean,
He'd probably do it.
I'm just putting it
I
out
think
there.
he probably
I mean,
would, yeah.
I probably shouldn't talk about it here in public, but we could probably, under the table be like, yo, Barbecue Master, I know we almost gave Berserker Gnome credit for your awesome cup, but
It's because
was a
Berserker
close
Gnome
call.
just posted whips in the chat room, so
Yeah,
I got distracted.
can you hook a chicken up? Thank you. Now that that's all out of the way, let's get into the meat of this week's show. It's time for Hearthstone News.
Good news, everyone!
When he is not crushing our show in a suit and a chicken mask, Ben Brode might be doing interviews for PC Games. We've actually got a link to the full interview in our show notes, amove.tv/TAC, but there were some highlights from his PC Gamer interview this week. Probably first and foremost is that deck slots are officially on the to-do list. Everyone cheer, come on. Let's
Yay!
get a little Jocelyn
Hype.
in here.
I mean, but this doesn't sound close. But at least they're doing it. We know they're doing it.
Yes,
But I
Blizzard
expect this to take a
moves
longer
at
time.
such a blazing glacial pace that when something is officially on the to-do list, it is cause for announcement and alarm.
Yep. I mean, it had to be done at some point, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't. 600 plus cards now. You can't contain that within 9 deck slots. You need to be able to spill over a little bit. So
I
I do
think-
like that they're
Yeah.
gonna take the time, and implement it correctly, because people are like, oh yeah, just scroll up and down, whatever, put them wherever you want, and that's not how Blizzard works. So,
I think that the outcry for more deck slots should be seen as a good thing and a positive thing, because to me, I see that and I'm just like, well, this is probably because we now live in a world where individual classes have multiple archetypes that are viable.
That's a
Not
good
to
point.
mention you have people like you, Dills, and Kriparian, who also just remember that this game is about fun and build crazy fun decks that,
yeah.
aren't at the very top of Hearthstone and
This game is
whatnot.
about fun. That sounds made up.
I just made a Poison Blade deck that I am incredibly excited about, by the way.
Are you?
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, you're a brave man. I mean, every
It's
time
got Poison Blades, Garrison Commanders, so I can,
What?
buff it twice in a turn. Oh yeah, it's gonna be sweet, man.
have you played it yet?
Yes.
Did
On
you
casual.
Have you won with it yet?
did you win any
Yes,
games?
I did win, but it was on casual, so it doesn't really count.
Did it come down to Poison Blade, or did you just win with your other rogue cards?
Well, it has a lot of good cards, but you Poison Blade, and then you hero power a bunch with it, over the next few turns, and then you just kill them with Blade Flurries and stuff like that. It's got oil in it and other ways to buff the weapon too. But it's
Okay.
pretty much all about all inning and killing them with just Poison Blade. You
Cool.
try to get your blade up to a 15 attack, and then you just boom, Blade Flurry, they're dead. That's like the point of the deck. But I'll say this, it's hard to do. It's really hard to do.
I'm about to say that doesn't sound easy, and every time I look at Poison Blade, I just kind of shake my head and ask myself why.
Yeah, but when you put like Maiden of the Lake and stuff, it's only 1 mana to buff it by 1. Like, I don't know, it works out. It's still a 2/6 they gotta kill. I don't know, it's terrible, but it's fun. It's fun to try to do.
Great. On the subject of Inspire cards, Ben said that not all of the Inspire cards were targeted for Tier 1 decks. I would
Sure.
take a little jab, and I would say it looks like most of them weren't targeted for
Yeah.
Tier 1 decks. That would be the little jab I would like to get in there.
You know what, though? They're fantastic in Arena. A
Yeah,
lot of these
no, they're-
Inspire cards are amazing in Arena.
Because they're pretty well already by themselves, even if you don't get the Inspire trigger, and they're just banana Broken Town if you do get the Inspire trigger. And so, yeah.
And you can do that in Arena because the games are so much slower, and you can get like stuff like Murloc Knight can actually live a turn. The Mookla's Champion is really sick. Coda Rider is actually really good in Arena. You wait until turn 8 to play it, but then you get 2, 3, 5s, and you also ping something. It's actually really, really strong. So, that's really where those cards shine. I guess at some point maybe we'll see new cards that might make them good and constructed, but for right now it's fine. I'm okay with them just being good in one place, right? They don't have to. Not every card has to be good.
Savage Combatant is really good when it comes out of my Ram Wrangler and my Hunter. Just gonna say.
Hey, you do
pretty
what?
amazing.
4 damage with your hero power all of a sudden? Yeah.
Pretty
And actually, that card is making it into the Druid as well because it's a really they want a lot of 4-drops because now with Darnassus Aspirant.
Aspirant.
And also Wild Growth, you have 2 ways to essentially skip turn 3. So you just want 4-drops. So they're just kind of removing the 3s and just putting in more 4s.
Yeah,
And that's a decent 4.
I saw a lot of Druids this week in my ranked games, and every single damn one, Darnassus Aspirant. I felt like none of the Druids I went up against they just all had great luck. They all had the Aspirant in their hand.
They doubled the amount of ways to get their Wild Growth, right? So they just have it all the time now.
No, and I like that.
Annoying, but yeah.
I mean, it is kind of annoying, but also like that is to me, if you were to ask me, hey Garrett, what's the one thing that really kind of iconifies? If that's not a word, I'm making up words on the show.
Sure,
but
I understand what you mean.
What is the main essence of Druid? And it's mana ramp. And
Sure.
so I like that there's more tools coming in, and that really the only big ramping tool they got in this expansion is playable. It's awesome. Bring it on.
Well, they also Druid really is, and if you watched a lot of the qualifiers and ATLC, Druid has the biggest potential to just draw so poorly and just lose because they don't get the ramp, and then all they have is like 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 cost cards in their hand, and they're just hero powering for like the first 3 turns, and then they lose. But now it's like, okay, because before it was like, oh, he drew Wild Growth. He's a really good Druid player. He didn't draw Wild Growth. He sucks at Druid. Now it's like, okay, well, you're probably going to get that ramp, and then now you play out a game as a Druid, as you're supposed to. So.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Clearly you weren't watching my Dragon Priest games this week where I just started off with a handful of 5-drops, because that deck can draw really bad too.
Well, but it can also draw in a way that no one can win.
Yeah, it can also curve out. It can also be the most perfect curve out you've ever seen with so many stats that you just shouldn't be happening. Yeah, exactly. You kill them with stats. You win with health. It's ridiculous. Your early minions have just so much health, but
you
and
put
then
out
you have a heal, so it's just
exactly.
It's ridiculous.
So you just keep them
I can
alive.
do 2 damage to all of them, and then you heal them.
It's kind of like I'm sorry, you wanted to play Hearthstone. We're playing Magic right now. If you don't kill my minions, they're gonna always be at full
They're
health.
all back to full.
Yeah. You better kill
Damn
my
priest.
minions. Yeah, I love it.
We'll talk about it later. We talk about the Secret Paladin, but I was trying to test the Secret Paladin, and I played 5 games out of 10 against Priest. I was just like, damn it, I can't win against this deck.
Yeah.
It was so bad. They're everywhere.
I finally kind of, I guess, broke out of the Priest bubble, and now I'm seeing a ton of Tempo Mage with like a smattering of Secret Paladin and Druid.
Tempo Mage is very popular right now because it deals with a lot of things really well.
Yeah. And I
And
started
also
seeing.
Mage you can put a Flame Strike in, so if Patron sucks, like you can actually maybe deal with it.
Yeah.
So.
I started seeing Face Hunter again. I played against like 3 of
Ooh.
them yesterday, and they all drew perfect, and I lost, and I was angry.
I think I've only
actually not a
seen
good
one
deck
or
right now.
two. I haven't seen very many Face Hunters lately.
I don't
It's been
think
a lot
good
of
deck.
yeah. No,
it's
there's
meta.
there's a lot that have been playing very similar decks to what I've been playing because I've been playing kind of like a tempo-y, late game control-y kind of a hunter and doing really, really well with it. But yeah, I'm coming up against a lot of people that I'm just like, I know what deck you're playing. I've got the same one, but I drew better. Suck it.
Well, back to Ben Brode's comments on the subject of kind of preemptively buffing quote-unquote bad cards. He said that had they buffed some of the bad Paladin secrets, that Mysterious Challenger may not have been able to be what it is today. Which
Yeah.
And that would have been the worst thing in the world.
I'm about to say, I'm like, there's some people reading this who are just like, yeah, and that's a good thing. What's wrong with you, bro? You crazy man. But I don't know. I still don't think.
I
Secret
see his
Paladins-
point. I definitely see his point. It's really interesting that they've, after a few iterations, a couple of expansions, couple of adventures, they've come out with a card like Mysterious Challenger that kind of makes a bunch of cards that weren't being played, pulling them back into the game. I think it's a really interesting mechanic in kind of the behind the scenes game design kind of way to look at it. So it's interesting. I like this comment a lot, even though I'm not a huge fan of Secret Paladin and Mysterious Challenger and makes me want to tear my hair out. I do think it's really cool that like no one played Paladin Secrets and now everyone plays Paladin Secrets.
Yeah, boy, are you gonna not enjoy today's strategy talk.
Yeah. All we're talking about.
Yeah.
Secret Paladin.
Although I think it's actually not the deck that it was. Like I think now that we know what's happening, it's much easier to play around now. And we'll get into that more later. Like I don't think it's like a cancer deck, right? Like,
Right.
No,
there was
no.
a point where I was just like, oh no, another secret. And now I'm just like, oh okay. So when you play that on 6, I'll just attack this way, and then this, and then I'll kill that, and then it's all good.
Yeah, Ben
And you
Bro.
can totally do it.
yeah,
I just flare and then they rage.
or you just flare and you watch them cry.
it
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
is the
other
best
way.
feeling in the game right now.
Flaring 5 secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty good.
it's
If only you
amazing.
drew a card for every secret that was destroyed.
Oh, my
man.
god.
How disgusting would that be?
That would be like Battle Rage.
That would be an interesting legendary. Like
Yeah.
a Harrison Jones for secrets,
Yeah. Oh.
That would
Yeah,
be
that'd be
so
so good.
cool. That should have been like a GVG card. It would have been like a neutral weapon, like flare gun. When death rattles, shoot a flare for every secret destroyed. Draw a card. Like how cool would that have been?
I like it.
Nice.
Make it happen, Team 5.
Get on it.
Yeah.
Actually, Ben Brode even kind of continued talking about Secret Paladin and said that it's not very concerning to them at the moment, as it does not kill you in one turn. You kind of see it coming.
Sure.
And I get that, and I see that. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Secret Paladin's all that bad. I think it's boring to play against it over and over again, but we run into this issue over and over again with relatively cheap decks that are easy to play and win with. When it wasn't this, it was Face Hunter. When it wasn't that, it was Miracle Rogue. Although I would argue Miracle Rogue not that easy to win with, or not that easy to play correctly. But
yeah.
but we saw it all the time back when it was a strong deck.
Well, and also, it's not fun to watch a guy essentially just play by himself, right? And that's what you were doing when you're like, I much prefer what Secret Paladin does, which is like play a card every turn and then you react to those cards that they played. And then it's like solving a little puzzle when they play their Mysterious Challenger and you're like, okay, now I know all of these secrets are this, and you try to figure out the correct way to sequence your attacks and everything. Whereas when people played Miracle Rogue, you just sat there and watched them draw through their whole deck. Same thing with like Grim Patron. They just go off, you sit there and you go, I wonder if this is lethal. Oh, it is, because it's always lethal. And that's not that fun. But I'm totally okay with the playstyle of trying to solve a little puzzle, and that's what Secret Paladin makes you do.
Yep. I like that as well. Grim Patron was brought up once again. Ben said that they are not currently in love with Grim Patron gameplay, but not only is it not being played much on the ladder, but it is a difficult deck to play correctly, and that the win rates aren't at the point of cards that they have nerfed in the past.
Yeah.
I believe it.
We've talked about these exact things on the show before, and that's because we are in Blizzard's back pocket and we mimic everything they tell us to say, everyone.
I
but
will
mean,
say,
like,
though.
if you
Go
watch the
ahead.
big tournaments, like ATLC or the qualifiers that have been going on these past couple of weekends, like Patron doesn't win every time. And these are the best of the best players in the game, and they're being broadcast live. Like the Patron doesn't win every time. Yeah, it's powerful. Yeah, it can be frustrating. But if you draw poorly with Patron, you're screwed. You don't have any answers. Like you have to get your draw early and your removal early, and then you have to get your patrons and your berserkers and everything late, and then you have to get Thaurissan to make everything cheap. And yeah, if it doesn't line up, it's a really tough deck to win with. So
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that the win rates aren't as high as everyone thinks they are, because it just feels so bad when you play against it and you lose to that one really big berserker turn or that one really big patron turn. It sucks. But that doesn't mean every single patron player every single time is winning like that.
No, but I do think after watching a lot of those matches that Patron does have to change, because and that they could do that by creating tools to combat it as well. I'm okay with that as a way, but when you watch those games, there was a lot of games where they were doing 70 plus damage in a turn with nothing on the board, and I don't think that's how the game. And yeah, like the ladder doesn't work because it's a hard deck to play, but it's making competitive Hearthstone less fun to watch for me anyway. And I think a lot of people are kind of echoing that as well, where it's like, oh, I brought 3 decks, Patron and 2 others. And that's what like they were commenting later, like Trump was like one of the only people who didn't bring a Patron Warrior deck, and I think that's because Trump's playstyle doesn't fit Patron, where he thinks way too long and he can't, he can't do that. But a guy like Jab, who's just insanely good at Hearthstone, sits there and calculates and goes, okay, so in 2 turns I'll be able to do 76 damage. So I'll wait until that, and then I'll do it, and then I'll do it all really quickly. And like against a guy like that, you really can't beat Patron unless they draw poorly. So I don't want to watch competitive Hearthstone and be like, well, I guess he just drew poorly. Like I want to watch them like play out a really interesting game and a lot of stuff, and then with this you're just kind of waiting for them to go off. And so I think it's kind of hurting competitive Hearthstone, maybe not the ladder, but competitive Hearthstone. And that should be taken into account when they make a decision like this.
Yeah, and I think it was Robert, when he was casting, that kind of put a really good spin on it. And he said,
I'm sorry, Robert or Worthen?
Threw me
was going
right
by Robert,
off
though,
because
right?
he was going by Robert. Yeah, so I'm trying to go with it here, Gary. Come on. But I think he said basically like there were 2 types of play styles in the qualifiers, and it was basically either you were a patron player or you were an anti-patron player, and you had 3 decks specifically to counter patron, or you brought patron and 2 other things. And you're right, Dills, like that isn't very interesting from a kind of fan perspective, because you're watching and you're just like, okay, so we're going to have at least one patron mirror match here sort of thing. And you're right, that's not fun to watch. So
no.
Yeah, I can see having to take that into account. I just don't think it has the impact on the ladder that some decks that have been nerfed in the past. I can see that argument where, like
it's crushing at the top of the ladder, but it's not like the people who are like playing 20 to 5 in that range, they're fine. And then you've got like Zalay, who like was just always number 1 because he just played nothing but patron. Yeah. And of course, like there's never going to be a perfect competitive meta. You've got other guys who like Fibonacci, like fantastic ladder player, but when it came to tournaments, he's like, all I can really play is Control Warrior, and I'm not that great at the other decks. And he suffered like it. Having one deck be so powerful is kind of always going to happen, but this deck is just over the top. Like the fact that it can do, like I think the math on it is that they can do like almost 100 damage in a perfect situation from nothing, with nothing on the board, and that's too much to me.
Too much,
like,
yeah.
That's too much. In a game where 30 health is the amount you get, and only one class can get over 30 health, you shouldn't have a deck out there that could do 100 damage. Like that's no, that just seems crazy to me.
Yeah, it's very similar.
And like, there's other combos that are still very powerful, but they're harder to get off, and they're interesting to watch them set up. And this one is just like, I just sit here and armor up for a while, and then I just count my damage, and then I
wreck your face.
You heard it here first, folks. Dills doesn't like things that are harder to get off.
It's very true. But that I was of the opposite opinion really until like I've been watching a lot of these matches and stuff, and I agree with what they're saying. I'm sure on the ladder it's not a big problem, but as I was watching those matches, I was like, yeah, this isn't that fun. sapping
I'm
some
in the
of my
same boat.
fun, man.
It's really not. It's not the ladder. It's not coming up against it that's driving me nuts. Although the other day I did lose a game to a patron that played it wrong and still won, and that made me.
Don't
Yeah.
you hate that when you see them make mistakes and they still beat you?
I'm trying really
Damn
hard
it.
to turn over a new leaf and be a calm person and not rage so much, but I may have thrown my chair. So
Yeah.
that's fun. But no, really, it's the same thing for me. It's as a spectator of Hearthstone, it's an esport. I'm done. I'm done with Patreon. I'm sick of seeing it. I'm sick of
Yeah.
it being almost every third game. Let's move on, please and thank you. Was part of the reason I liked the ATL. That was probably the number one reason I liked the ATLC so much. It was because out of a best of 9, you were at
Best of 11.
Best of
best of 11.
yeah.
Sorry, best of too many freaking games. There were only 2 patron decks in this whole thing. So
Yeah,
and,
you saw tons of shaman.
and
Like,
usually-
you saw all sorts
Yeah,
of classes
yeah.
you never see.
yeah, and usually the patron would just win, and you wouldn't have to worry about seeing it again. So
It's annoying to watch people play, you know, Hunter Warrior Warlock or Hunter Warrior Druid every single time.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's similar with any other game too. Like Heroes, you know, you watch some of these matches and the meta is essentially like the same 10 heroes on each side, or same 10 heroes and same 2 bands, and you're just kind of like, man, I wish somebody would play, you know, Nova or something.
did you watch
Like,
this weekend though, man? There was a nice.
I watched some of it.
There's
There
a
was some
nice
interesting
spread of
picks,
heroes.
Tyrandas and stuff like
A
that.
lot of
yeah.
Tyrandas,
But-
a lot of Arthuses. People are
Yeah.
kind of tuning into the South Korean meta, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, no, I
Sonya.
mean but isn't that cool? That's exciting, right?
Yes,
When new
yes,
stuff
exactly.
happens, and with Patron out there, I don't know if we're gonna get new stuff anytime soon. It's
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yep.
it's kind of annoying. Like, but if you are good at Patron, right now is an incredible time to play it on the ladder. By the way, because it crushes Secrets Pally, which we'll talk about as well later.
Yeah. On the subject of nerfing cards, Ben Bread said that power level reasons aren't why they nerf things. It's all about how fun cards are to play against. Which again brings up the question: what's going on with Grim Patron? Ain't that fun to play against? He said that
I predict something's gonna happen. Though.
Yeah.
it is. They're just they're doing their due diligence.
Because there's so many things that you could change in Patron. They have to make sure that they change the right thing and not go overboard.
Yeah, don't break
so.
it.
I would
Like,
have
yeah.
to-
Don't break anything.
I'd also have to look it up because I do not know off the top of my head, but I feel like Miracle Rogue was around for quite a while before it was
Yes.
nerfed, and I don't know if
Yes.
we've gone past the amount of time that Miracle Rogue was a thing with Patron, and I don't think we have.
I think
I don't
yeah,
think
someone
so.
said we're like
Miracle
a
Rogue-
few weeks away though. Or like we're actually pretty close.
Yeah.
I don't remember where I saw that.
Not
but
that
someone
I
said
think
on
that
the
that's
map.
how Blizzard operates, but that at least gives us maybe some kind of gauge to go on about how much time they will give something before they finally feel like they maybe need to flip the switch. But I don't know. There's so many things, and I don't think it's as black and white as a lot of people make. There's
No.
people on both sides of the fence that say, no, leave Patron alone. Those are probably the people, getting the legend with Patron. And then there's a lot of other people who are like, no, it's broken. It's a piece of crap. It's killing the game. It's cancer. What are you doing? Get rid of it. I think there's a middle ground. I think there's, both sides have merit, and I'm not going to pick a side, so everyone's going to hate me.
I think we're falling somewhere in the middle. Or we're not saying that this is not Undertaker. This is like Undertaker. It was a very clear line. Like this has to change.
Yeah, I mean, he was kicking Brock Lesnar's butt, and it's just unfair.
Yep. Even at the age of 50. No, but it's like I said. It's the competitive scene is what's really hurting from it right now. So
Yeah.
that's all.
Ben must have known the deck you were creating, Dills, because he made a comment about Poison Blade. He said that Poison Blade's intention was to bring back the original Rogue hero power in a more balanced form. He said it does seem less good if you didn't get to play with it during Hearthstone's beta. And I'm not sure they hit the mark.
No, I mean it was broken in beta. This is nowhere near broken. They could have made it 3 mana that weapon.
Yeah.
But 4 mana is just so terrible.
We talked a lot about this when we first were looking at cards that were previewed, and we were a lot of cards we were looking at, and we're like, well, it's not really that good. And then we would, Dills, you constantly brought up though, you might be that might not be that good, but it is balanced. If this costs 1 less, or if it had 1 more stat in this or that other place, it would be an auto include in every deck. However,
it's close,
you look at Poison
but-
Blade, and it's not even close. It's a 1/3 weapon for 4 mana, and when you hero power, it gains 1 attack instead of replacing it. Like that's on turn 4, you're equipping a 1 attack weapon. What are you gonna do with that? And on turn 5, holy shit, guys, you can spend 2 mana to make a 2/3 if you didn't swing for 1 less. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. And so but the deck that I use also runs things like Thaurissan and makes them cheaper, and then it's okay.
Right.
But when it's funny because a lot of times Thaurissan makes things broken, and Thaurissan makes this barely passable.
Yeah.
and that's a huge that's a card that's never going to see play. So yeah, they
Yeah.
missed the mark if that's what they were trying to do here, but. Maybe they were just too scared of actually making something totally broken.
Yeah.
So they were like, let's just be a little overcautious here. It'll be a bad card. But it kind of sucks because Rogue right now is, I think, at the bottom of the constructed meta. Like, I don't see Rogue ever.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
Which is to say, I mean, right now we're probably the most balanced in win rates we've been because Oil Rogue is still a pretty good deck. I mean,
It's okay,
It's not
but-
but think about before TGT when Priest was just so far below everyone else, it wasn't even close.
Yes. And I expect that Rogue will be back at some point. But
Right.
Rogue has one viable-ish deck and no other real options outside of that. I keep trying to do stuff with it. I got my Dragon Rogue. I got my Poison Blade Rogue, and
Have you
none of
tried
it's
Pirate
working.
Rogue or Mech Rogue?
Well, I don't have Captain Skycrag or whatever, so. But I guess he's not that great anyway. You could probably do Pirate Rogue without him, but yeah, maybe I'll give that a shot. You know what I'll do? How about this? We're gonna do Kraken Rogue, which is South Sea. What is it? South Sea Kraken to finish you off.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, he should just be in the pirate deck, right? Kraken should be in.
Yeah,
the
the
pirate
Kraken belongs in every
That's how you
pirate
win,
deck.
man. You release the Kraken.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And you have to yell it every single time you play it. That's the rules.
Yeah, and
You
you
don't
gotta
yell
talk.
it, you don't win.
You gotta talk like Bill Nighy from the second and third Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
But like you brought up the priest thing. Like, that's why I think Rogue sucks right now, because like every like Rogue removal doesn't actually like kill anything in that Dragon Priest deck. And you're just always like, like I'm just one damage off of killing this thing. I just can't ever kill
Yeah, but
any
you
of
got to
this
think.
stuff.
I mean, think about the other decks that are out there. Oil Rogue is, that would do total work against all the little shits that come out in Secret Paladin, and
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
always
there's
done
plenty of
decent
decks it's
against
fine
Hunter.
against, but
Like, yeah.
anything that can't beat Dragon Rogue consistently kind of sucks right now.
You mean
to be
Dragon
honest.
Priest?
Or Dragon Priest? Yeah, it's kind of everywhere.
There you go. Dill says build Dragon Rogue. There you go. Yeah. So Ben also talked about some of the internal statistics that they keep track of over there at Blizz HQ. So apparently they have a class breakdown of grouping of cards. They have individual card win rates. They have groups of card win rates, and individual players and their win rates of their individual decks are all things that they take a look at. So
I thought that was a really cool idea stat that, they're watching specific players and saying like, oh man, like this is, Delay with his patron and that's what he's known for. And this is his win rate. And like, I wish I could see all of the numbers behind Hearthstone.
Yeah.
agreed.
It'd be cool if they would give us an interface to look like, I was pouring over hero stats the other day, and I was like, this is so fun. I want to pour over all my Hearthstone stats.
Like, it doesn't even need to be in game. Like, if it's on the Hearthstone site, like log in with your Battle.net account and take a look at this stuff, I think it'd be great. Especially since I feel like every now, a lot of times the community outreach is them correcting us on dumb things we say. And it's like, well, we'd be more
Because we don't
informed
know
if
the
we could
stats,
see
yeah.
your stats.
Yeah.
Like maybe people wouldn't complain so much about Patreon if we could see the actual Blizzard stats and not just maybe. Right now, what do we have to go off of? Hearth stats, which is a
How
good
it
tool.
feels.
But yeah,
Yeah,
and how
exactly.
it feels.
It's all anecdotal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not necessarily. You have tools like Heart Stats, but that's only going to be from people who are actually logging their games on there. And
Yeah, and generally those people are gonna it's like looking at the Hearth Arena stats where they're like, "Hey, looks like the average win rate is 68%." And you're like, "Well, the people who use your
who
site
use Hearth Arena,
are
yeah.
Yeah.
people who care a lot about their arena stuff, and they're gonna be generally better. So you can't
They
can't
don't
really make like solid conclusions based on just
Yeah,
that data.
I want to see the statistics that include my grandmother who loses her cell phone signal on the bus. That's in the middle of
Yeah.
her arena run. That's what I
Who,
want to
like
see.
fireballs your own face because you're trying to play on your iPhone.
She took
Yeah.
explosive sheep because it looked cute. Like, I want to see those statistics too, please.
That's
Thank
totally
you.
how I draft Arena. You're adorable in the deck.
Look, but it's a hungry crab. Aww.
Yeah.
Clearly the best.
He's hungry. I have to take him.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so
Feed him some Murlocs.
That's such a terrible way to play this game. So that'll do it for that. You can see the full interview over at PCGamer.com. We'll have a direct link in the show notes. Hearthstone World Championships, guys. I mean, they're heating up. The main event is going to be starting earlier than maybe you would have thought. However, it's similar to last year. Last year's BlizzCon, the various events that were tied to it that were esports related, they needed more time than just Friday, Saturday of BlizzCon to get everything done and over with. However, unlike last year where it was just the preceding weekend that was used, this year, the entire week leading up to BlizzCon, we'll see preliminary stages of Hearthstone, StarCraft, WoW Arena, and Heroes' various world championships. For Hearthstone specifically, it's going to kick off with 4 groups of 4 players vying against each other in a dual elimination tournament. Match 1 of each group will play on October 28th. Match 2 and the first eliminations are going to be on October 29th, October 30th, and 31st. When 31st, no one will be watching that. There's more important things happening on Halloween. I'm getting married. They will see each match advancing a player to BlizzCon. So big stuff going down on the 30th and the 31st. So, yeah. Get ready for a lot of Blizzard esports action, not just Hearthstone, but I can't even decide which one I am most excited for. I gotta say, I think I'm leaning towards Heroes this year just because it's the new shiny. But historically, StarCraft is always, I think, the best esport in the frickin' world. And I realize that's an opinion, but it's just so good to watch. And Hearthstone, man, did you guys see any of the qualifiers over the weekend? I mean, there was a lot of stuff to watch, but
from when I woke up to when I went to sleep, I watched all of Europe, and then I watched all of NA, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of Hearthstone.
All you really needed to watch to get a sense for the gravity of the situation was the final match of the North American qualifiers Sunday night, because Trump knocked out last year's champion Firebat. And if you had come to me and said, hey, Garrett, we got this bet going on, this is a good payout, who do you think's going to make it through, Trump or Firebat? I would have put every cent I had on Firebat.
Trump's been doing really, really well.
I know.
He's really been in super try-hard mode in the last
He's gotten a lot better
months.
constructed. He's gotten more aggressive, which I think is the key. He used to play essentially an arena game in constructed, and he made way too many mistakes that way. Where you watch some of the best players, and at a certain point they realize, hey, it's time to just go face and get the damage. And Trump was always trying to play the value game, and now he is turned the corner. He flipped the switch, and he's like, nope, I get it. I gotta hit face. All right,
face is the place.
I was really excited.
He actually won with a really aggressive play. The final game was was it the final? I can't remember which one, but he was playing Druid, and he used his combo to get Firebat down to 2 with a swipe in hand. And then he prayed that he didn't have the patron combo, and then he swiped him on the next turn and won the game. And that's a play that old Trump probably would have never made. Old Trump would have cleared the board and tried to play all safe, and new Trump just went face and won the game.
Yeah, I'm so stoked for him, too. I mean, that's always good from a story aspect. It's an upset. You didn't expect it. Trump has kind of been, crapped on for his constructed play in the past. People like me making jokes like I just did, how I would have never put money on him. This is so great from a story aspect, and I'm glad that we're getting nice storylines like this coming out of the Hearthstone World Championship, because it's exactly what you need from esports to make it interesting and make people care that may not be already into the game or into the format.
Imagine a world where Trump is the Hearthstone World Champion and the President of the United States.
Yeah, as long as it's this Trump, as long as it's this Trump, I'm in on it.
And not the other Trump.
Yeah, please, and thank you.
I will say this though: Hearthstone is a game that's more similar to say poker or something than Heroes. Cloud9 knocking off Tempo Storm was like, what? How did this happen? And in Hearthstone, Trump beating Firebat is like, well, you don't draw the best all the time. It's not the best players ever best player's not going to win every single time, right? In a game like Hearthstone, it's closer to poker where the best players will generally win more often, and they'll be near the top. And that's over time you figure out who the best player is. So one match isn't going to make or break. Trump isn't I wouldn't say Trump is better than Firebat. Firebat had an amazing run this year, and I was rooting for him to at least be at BlizzCon though. So it was a little disappointing that we couldn't have both of those guys, but I'm happy for Trump.
It is really cool, though. What I do kind of like about a lot of this is there were a ton of names that I had maybe heard or seen on Twitter a couple times that I hadn't really seen in really competitive play, because a lot of the tournaments that are, big broadcasts and the stuff that I've been watching anyway, is a lot of invites. It's a lot of really big names, big streamers, all the kind of household Hearthstone names that you know. So there were a lot of players that ended up going really, really far in these qualifiers. And I was like, I've never heard of you before. And oh my God, that's an amazing play that, I've never seen before. And I felt like I had a lot of those moments in these qualifiers. And if it was just like always all the big names going forward, then that maybe wouldn't have been as exciting. I was so glad that there was, even though there were people that I normally root for and follow and cheer on and really wanted to see go forward, when they got knocked out, I got the chance to see people I wasn't familiar with. So that was really, really cool. I enjoyed this qualifier weekend quite a lot.
Yeah.
You guys got any predictions? We probably shouldn't try to predict Korea and North Korea.
I think North Korea will show up with a tank.
And then I just said Asia Pacific and China.
Yeah.
I don't think we know any of those players. Tiddler's in, but I don't know any. Oh, and Ping Ping, what is his name? I don't know. I can't remember now. I'll look it up. Ping Ping Ho, I think he's in.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, Ping Ping Ho. Those are the only people I know. Only people I know. But NA, I think we can make predictions probably, right?
Yeah, everyone's doing so damn well. I mean, at this point, I'm totally rooting for Trump. I want to see Trump do it, and I think he might be able to make it.
I'd like to see Gab do well, and Hot Form too.
I think my predictions are that the guys to watch in NA are Purple, Hot Form, and Jab.
Oh man, seeing Purple win was so fantastic. Like he's one of those guys where it's like I haven't really seen him play because he had more of kind of a coaching role, and he's still in that coaching role, but it's so cool to see him actually competing and doing well. He's one of those quiet behind the scenes guys.
I think he's not coaching anymore. He's not on Team Archon anymore.
No, he's not on Team Archon, but he got picked up by somebody else.
He's on so I think he's Gamers Origin.
Yes,
I didn't know if he was coaching or it seems like he's concentrating on. Well, he's definitely concentrating on playing right now because he's trying to.
Well, yeah,
right. I mean, that's a lot of money. You want to definitely train for that.
Yeah.
But no, it's for me too. I'm really excited to see Purple Drank doing so well because to me, in the back of my head, he's he's just that guy that I really enjoy when he streams with Firebat. He wasn't really in the forefront of my mind as a tournament player, and. That like you said, Jocelyn, this is a really interesting year for Hearthstone. A lot of these are names we're not used to seeing this high or this late into a competition of this size.
Yeah, and then a guy like Jab has just been crushing it for so long now, and just kind of looked unstoppable. He was 3-0ing every single match.
Yeah,
and he's one of the top mid-range hunter. Well, probably the top mid-range hunter player. But he's also really good at all the other decks, and so he's definitely not a specialist. And then Hot Form is an incredibly smart guy that nobody really knew about, but has been streaming for a long time now, and he gets pretty good numbers on Twitch, and has been crushing the ladder for a long time as well. Mm-hmm. And he's just so you watch him play, his style is so analytical. Yeah. He really understands how the game is really kind of moving, the permutations of the future turns that might happen, and he just kind of gets a sense. It's almost like he's applying game theory to Hearthstone, and that's what he's using to beat everybody. And so he's a very scary player, I think, as well.
Yeah, and both Hot Form and Purple are both Canadian, so gotta root for the Canadians. Yeah,
there it is.
Those are the only two. Yeah, those are the only two Canadians in there.
Yeah. I think,
there were a lot more. Silent Storm got knocked out pretty early.
That's the one I'm probably the most disappointed about. But yeah, got two Brazil players in there as well. We have Molgel and is that seriously pronounced Korea?
I think it's Korea.
Korea, okay. But I'm not familiar with these players, and that's really exciting, at least to me. So.
Yeah, and did we mention two guys not on a team too, individual Hearthstone players, which is also awesome.
Yeah. Sorry, Jocelyn. It sounded like you were.
I was just going to say, did we mention VLPS at all? Because he was another way out of the blue, never heard of him guy before.
I don't believe so.
We didn't bring him up, but he also was playing really, really well throughout the entire thing. Yeah. And he's on a team. He's just one of these guys that his name hasn't popped up a whole bunch of times,
Yeah, but, he's on Team Follow Esports.
Yes. Very memorable name, Team Follow.
Yeah, followesports.com. That sounds like the most generic esports website ever.
That's Alchemix's team. Remember him? He got like banned, and
He
then
was
he
the
just
guy,
decided
yeah.
to stop playing. But he decided that he wanted to just still do something.
Yeah.
So I think he just started his own team. Is what happened there.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with the team, but Koyuki's on here. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Which is always funny because if you watch Day 9, he always talks about Case.
Mm-hmm.
His Magic the Gathering guru. That's Koyuki.
Oh, that's Koyuki. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. That's totally that's dope as hell. But while we're on the subject of esports, let's shift away from the World Championship because I feel like we're just going to be sitting here talking about who we really want to
I
win.
was gonna say, yeah, we didn't even talk Europe, but
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Well,
it's
it's be
just
life coach, right?
it's too much.
oh man, but Tice, man.
I don't know.
Good.
You know, there might be a shortening coming to the time you can take in a turn, and that's really going to hurt a life coach's game. So,
They
DreamHack.
almost had all of Nilum, by the way. RDU got knocked out really late in that tournament. That would have been crazy.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty sick.
Well, I mean, they did just kind of win a major tournament, so
Yes,
would it
Yeah.
have been that surprising? I mean,
Yeah, RDU tweeted like FML just lost BlizzCon or whatever, and everyone was like, "Dude, you just won so much money.
Yeah,
about,
you
man?
don't even
Yeah,
need
screw you,
BlizzCon.
man. You're doing just fine."
that is the heart of a competitor right there. Dude.
Yeah, he
Nothing.
wants to win. It's
You
fine.
want to win everything. You want to win it all.
I get it.
You know. But DreamHack's back in the Hearthstone news this week because this past summer, DreamHack ran a 128-player open Swiss format tournament, if you don't remember. But winter is coming. Yeah, see what I did there? And the same format is returning, but the tournament will start with 200 slots. So a 200-player tournament.
Damn.
If significantly more than 200 players sign up, it is likely that DreamHack is going to increase the tournament even larger, even beyond a 200-player tournament. So that's just crazy. It's an open tournament. Go sign up. The playoff stage is also getting bigger. DreamHack Summer had a 8-player playoff stage. DreamHack Winter is going to have a 16-player playoff stage. The only thing that hasn't changed, sadly, is the prize pool. It's still only sitting at $40,000 US.
Oh man,
So it's
some
only
money into that.
yeah, only $40,000 up for grabs, guys. I mean,
By the way, I'm going to the first ever DreamHack in America because it's going to
Nice.
be in Austin, and I'm actually going to be living there when it
there's a
happens.
very good chance I'm going to go to that as well because I always said
Nice.
if a DreamHack ever comes to America, that it doesn't matter where it is. If it's in Hawaii or Alaska, I will find a way to get there.
Yeah, I purchased a LAN seat, so I will have a seat. Bring my computer in, be streaming from there, and I'll. They ask you which tournament would you like to be in, and I said Hearthstone, which hasn't been announced that there's going to be one, but I can't imagine there won't be. So maybe I'll be in that one.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
I'll be up against Tiddler Celestial.
Oh man, yeah. Because
think-
if they're coming, they're probably going to do an Oh my god, I'm totally signing up for that.
I was gonna say, I think all three of us actually might be going to this. and
Why
that would
not?
Be really
Why-
freaking cool.
We should all just enter. Who gives a crap? If they come to America and they do an open Hearthstone tournament, we should all just sign up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. You guys should get on getting if you want a LAN seat, get on that.
I think
'Cause
they're
they
all.
go fairly quick.
I think they're all gone because I checked.
They might be gone. Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
I
just
think I
gonna-
checked on the 16th or so. I checked the day after, and I was
But I
like,
mean,
damn
there's
it.
still
We'll
just go and hang
Yeah.
out.
We're gonna
tickets.
squat on your land seat, Dills.
Yeah. there you go. All right.
Don't worry.
All right.
Don't worry. We'll just go and squat on yours. We'll put 2 bean bags and just smush them up against your chair and get real cozy.
It's 24 hours a day too.
Yeah.
We could just take shifts. Here, I'll stream in this time. We'll do 24-hour streams. For DreamHack.
Oh, jeez.
Epic.
Finally, the last little bit of Hearthstone esports news this week is actually not all that little. You guys familiar with the team Navi? Maybe you like Dota, and maybe you realize that they're kind of sick nerd ballers in that round of games.
Yeah, they're
Nerd
a really
ballers.
well-known team.
You've never heard anyone say sick nerd ballers? I know I've said it on this show before.
Maybe I just tune you out.
I think that's exactly what happens. But they have entered the Hearthstone arena. Ostkaka, Hoj, is I'm going to choose to pronounce that, and Sixo. And Sixo. They are all now.
Sixo landed on his feet.
Yeah, they are all now Navi Hearthstone players. So
They're all sick nerd ballers.
one of the most well-known esports teams now has a Hearthstone team, and I'm honestly surprised they took this long to kind of enter the fray. So
These are all really good players, so
Yep.
they're probably going to make some waves pretty soon.
yep. So before we move into this week's strategy section, let's thank our patrons, guys, because they help this show happen. You can become an Angry Chicken patron by going to patreon.com/TAC. We're approaching 600 patrons. Thank you all so very much. If you become a patron, you'll get access to the TAC Skype account for the patron call-in episodes that we're doing next Tuesday. You get the after show video. Go over there and check it out. This week, we want to thank Nicholas H., Alex P., Jamie O., Brandy H., and Mike L. Thank you all so much for supporting the Angry Chicken over on Patreon. Now, let's talk a little Secret Paladin.
Hit it very hard.
Wanna blow something up? Time to pay!
So we've talked a lot about Secret Paladin on the show, kind of in passing, but we haven't really taken the deep dive into the strategy behind it and exactly how the deck plays out.
Yes, it's a new deck, and we brought it up casually.
Yep.
But when it kind of hit the scene, the first time I saw anybody playing it was Wreckful was playing it, and he was calling it Dr. Six, and then he was like he just made a super weird version of it that had way too many secrets in it. But he was doing okay because nobody really knew how to deal with what it was doing, right? And it started off as a very aggro deck. And now as it's kind of evolved, you're seeing like two versions. And I think right now more than the hyper aggro version, you're seeing the mid-range version, which I believe is the one we're displaying right now.
If you were
right?
watching the video version,
Yes.
you are looking at the more mid-range Secret Paladin.
Yep.
Hell, if you go over to Tempest Storm right now and look at the meta report, this is the exact deck. Usually the meta report deck lists aren't always the most up-to-date. This one's pretty up-to-date.
Yeah. So this one's running like one competitive spirit and like one redemption, one repentance, because those secrets are like bad when you don't get them for free. And the one that I originally was playing, and a lot of people were playing, which is RDU's like super hyper aggressive one that was running the secret keepers and all that, just runs like all the secrets and just says, hey, well, at least they're cheap and I'll play them all out and then I'll divine favor and draw a bunch of cards. It's like it's a different kind of plan.
Yeah.
This is just kind of a mid-range Pally deck, but just having the Mysterious Challenger as kind of a finisher is really strong. So it has Tyrion and Dr.
And it's not
Boom
the only finisher. You have Dr. Boom
Yeah.
and Tyrion in there as well. So if everything else goes wrong, you might get 15 damage out of an Ashbringer.
Yes.
So this it's got a lot of reach thanks to the just absurdity of this. I thought I was gonna love this deck because mid-range Paladin was my like I don't know, my third love, most recent deck that I really took to. I guess technically mid-range Hunter was, but I identified the most with mid-range Paladin. I have not been having good results with this. I've had much better results with the aggro build this week. But of the three of us, I believe I am still the lowest on the ladder, so that probably makes the most sense.
Where are you playing right now?
11, and I fell back to 12 after my mad losing streak yesterday.
So I think, Jocelyn, you're somewhere around 8 or something, you said yesterday?
I'm 6 today. I'm getting
All right,
there.
so then we're in the same place because that's where I'm at right now. And yeah, right now I guess this deck is the best one, but there's just too many Dragon Priests, I think, right now for me to be like having good results with this deck. And sure, it can win. It can beat the Dragon Priest, but it's just really tough because you don't have things like Equality in here, and you only have one Consecrate, and sometimes you just have no way to come back when you fall behind. And even putting out, Mysterious Challenger on 6 and getting 5 secrets, if the other guy's ahead on board, he can probably stay ahead on board by playing around the secrets properly. And people are starting to figure out how to do that. Right. So while this deck is powerful, I don't think it's the tier 1 that it was when it first came out. It's a little.
I'm so tempted to make adjustments to this deck. I haven't logged enough games with it to really feel like I know what I want to get rid of. But I've got a big red target on Repentance. I don't think it's even worth the free card slot that it's kind of taken up.
Garrett, has anyone told you about Eye for an Eye? Can I convert you to the religion?
Are you at my front door wearing a tie and a bike helmet?
Because I'm pretty sure you could get away with one of them, and no one sees it coming. So, they clear out everything else and they're just like, okay, Noble Sack is gone. That's probably Competitive Spirit. They hit you in the face for like 8 damage and you're like, boom, eye for an eye, bitches.
Yes, much like the Spanish Inquisition, no one expects it.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a cute story, but here's what really happens when you run eye for eye. They clear all the stuff out, and then at the end they have like 1 charge left of their Light's Justice. They're like, I might as well swing face with this, and then poof, 1 damage goes off, and everyone gets tickled a little bit, and that's what happens.
Well, maybe someone likes to get tickled by eye for an eye, Dills. Maybe maybe somebody likes that.
You want to run the tickle version of the
Everyone go check Jocelyn's Google
Tickle
browsing
Pally.
history and see exactly what kind of things she likes searching for.
There's some cool play. Like, Repentance is great if you can get, like, a Dr. Boom with it or something like that, and then you easily kill it. Or some, I've gotten, like, Sludge Belchers or something, and suddenly, like, they're just super easy to deal with. So I think it's okay.
You
definitely don't want 2 of them.
When it goes on a minion that you're glad it went on, yes, it's a good card, but a lot of times that's not the case.
Well, yeah, but it's still, that's more value. Like, being able to get even anything down to 1, it's,
I guess my point is,
but when you play it for free, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
right?
I guess my point is, one of your opening comments was, this doesn't have the quality, so when you get behind, it's kind of hard to get back ahead. Like, I kind of feel like, why not just take out Repentance, put in 1 equality, you have 1 consecration, so at least you have 1 combo that's a total reset emergency button.
No, I totally think that would work. I think there's definitely options here, but the problem is, as you start taking more secrets out, then you just weaken your Mysterious Challenger, and But I think I would also just I'd also just run the aggro version of it, honestly. Like, if we're talking about what because that deck snowballs. Like, the Secret Keepers come out, and then your secrets are actually good.
Ridiculous.
Buff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Undertaker again. With
And
this
I've
one,
made the mistake too, because it's not only friendly secrets that activate that stupid freaking thing. So I'm sitting there as Hunter, I'm going, I'm gonna explosive trap your, damn it.
Yeah.
Like, now it has 3 health.
Exactly. And then they just sit there forever, and then they just play all their 1 mana secrets, and you're just like, well, I'm out.
I've been there as well. Don't feel bad. I've totally done that and just been like, oh shit, why did I do that?
There are some like cool plays you can do with this version. I think though you could like mini bot on, like you can redemption on 1 and then mini bot on 2, and then like they can't get rid of your shielded mini bot because it comes back with a shield, and there's some cool stuff you can do.
No, some
or
absolutely
like
crazy things.
Get down into Knife Juggalo where like they try to kill it. They're like, oh, I'll just kill the Juggalo, and then it's like, get down, and then a knife too, and there's
all kinds.
Sometimes that kills your 2/1 thing you were gonna kill the juggler with. Yeah.
So there's crazy stuff. Probably the biggest thing, the thing I love, and it actually happened, I want to say the second time I played this deck, was Competitive Spirit. If you get that and you get Muster and you go second, so you get the coin. If you get those 3 things in your opening hand, usually the mulligan rule with this deck is throw all your secrets back.
Yeah.
In most scenarios, throw them all back. However, if you draw your cards, you get the coin, you get Muster, you get Competitive Spirit, just snap keep. Just hit keep and laugh. Laugh as loud as you can. Because on turn 1,
turn 1, Competitive Spirit.
Turn 2, you coin plus Muster. Competitive Spirit does not proc if you don't have minions on the board. So turn 2, you just Muster, and then at the beginning of turn 3, you have 3 2/2s on board, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, oftentimes that early in the game, if it is turn 2, like the other person will likely rather play a minion and clear a single 1/1. So unless they already have a creature on board, you're probably going to get the 3 2/2s.
Yeah.
And getting 2 2/2s is actually fine as well, because like Competitive Spirit just only really sucks when it's only on 1 minion. As long as you get on 2 minions, you're getting 2/2 for 1, right? And that's fine. So, and you're splitting it up among multiple creatures. So Competitive Spirit's okay. Again, though, it's super situational, and I feel like this deck is. It's now at the point where I've taken the Flare out of my Hunter deck because I'm not so scared of this deck anymore.
Yeah, you can beat it without Flare. It's just.
And I think we were talking about this. Like, Flare sucks against some decks and is amazing against this one, but is that worth it?
Well, and I'm finding right now, I kept the Flare in because I'm going up against a lot of Druid, I'm going up against a lot of Mage, and I'm going up against a lot of Hunter. So and on top of Secret Pally. So I've got my flare that'll help me clear any shades, so I don't have that shade sitting there ticking every turn. And then obviously to kill secrets from like tons and tons and tons of either Freeze Mage or the duplicate Giants Mage. If you can just flare away those secrets, that's like their whole game plan. Like if a Freeze Mage doesn't have Ice Block anymore, like boom, done, killed.
Yeah, flaring away Ice Block is like auto concede for a Freeze Mage. They can't win without it. So
and Jocelyn, what you just said right there, you know what you're going up against the most, and I think that's a really good kind of example as to why it's so important to track your games as best you can. Because they can make I agree with you, Dills. There's a lot of decks where Flare in your Hunter deck is not the best thing in the world, but the last time I was playing mid-range Hunter, I was coming up against a lot of other Hunters, and in that matchup, Flare is amazing.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's a card that's like it can just straight up win you a game sometimes, but to me, like I was just like I was getting more use out of like something else, so I ended up like putting that back in. So I'm not saying that's a wrong tech choice, but it's
a lot of people forget that it breaks stealth of all minions, and it
and it draws a card.
It draws a card, So for 2 mana, it has a lot of different I guess use cases, and so I found I don't have 2, I have 1. But then even if I get it pretty early on, it's never really a bad thing for me because I can either hold on to it to end game and use it when I have to, or I've got it early game for druids or whatever the case may be. I found like it never hurts to have it in my hand because it always does something useful, even if it is only the card draw. And sometimes in Hunter you get to a point where you just really really need that card draw, so then you have it there. So I'm still running one, and it's still helping me in a lot of matches that I probably would have lost otherwise. So,
well, if it's winning you games, then you keep card. That's
really what it boils down to. Are you winning? Don't change anything.
I think the last thing that I really would say about this deck is just that while it's awesome, this version can draw really awkwardly. I had plenty of games where I had, you always keep Mysterious Challenger because that's just like such a strong card on turn 6. But I had a lot of games where we kind of move, like this version kind of moves into late game a little bit. It's not as aggressive. It's not going to kill you as fast. And I run into games where my hand is fairly empty. I'm kind of top decking, and I top deck a secret on like turn 12. And they're top decking, something like a viable minion. And I'm top decking that. And it sucks, and you're just like, well, I guess I lose because of that. And actually, if you watch the NA qualifiers, Phone Tap was up 2-0 and got reverse swept by Firebat with his Secrets Paladin deck. So, we had to talk about it on the show. But I don't think this is a time where we're talking about a deck just because it's super strong and everyone should be playing it. I think it's come down a peg. I think when the next snapshot comes out, you might see this down in the tier 2. It's just really like fallen out of favor after it had the surprise factor. That's gone. People have teched against it. It's too easy to tech against. I'd rather just play regular old mid-range Paladin at this point. I'd rather play a zombie Chow on turn 1 than a mini bot on turn 2, and then muster for and then like you can't beat me. This deck,
I still really like the aggro version because I liked aggro. I was having good results with aggro Paladin before TGT came out, and the Secret Paladin version of that is very much the same deck. With a bunch of secrets, and it's cool because you have a bunch of early minions, so it draws less awkwardly.
Yeah, and I still have my super aggro version because I think I have my stats here somewhere, but I had like a 75% win rate with that deck when it first hit. It felt stupid. Like I was just like, wow, this is just destroying everything in my path. But I think I did slow it down just a touch. I think I put in a single the guy who buffs your dudes.
Guy who buffs your dudes.
Quartermaster?
Quartermaster. I put in a single quartermaster because I had so many situations I had a lot of dudes out. And I was like, this is pretty good.
Because that particular deck just has, it's like Zoo. It has so many things you can play every darn turn that is, unless I don't know, Druid or another Paladin would Consecrate, but it's unlikely they're going to be able to clear your board.
Yeah, that deck is all about kind of swarming. So it ended up being a quartermaster. Was like so many times I was like, man, if I had a quartermaster, I'd have lethal right now. And so I just finally just decided to do it, and that deck is still working really well. So if you are looking for a secrets deck and this one's not working out for you, there is another option, and that is the crazy aggro one.
Yeah.
Which here I'll link it in the chat for a bit.
The one thing I want to say too, not to min-max here. It just, if you have not played this deck and you have the cards for it, I highly recommend it because this doesn't feel like anything I've played before.
True. And I think it's also just a good idea to kind of be versed in the decks that you're going to see a lot, because then you know how to play around them. You know, like what beats you when you play it. So.
Yeah. I've been trying to do the same thing in Heroes. I've been trying to play heroes that I don't like playing just so I know what their kit's like and what to look for.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I know where Sylvanas is going to teleport to because I've played a bunch of games of Sylvanas this week. All right, you're dead. That's fun. So I recommend that as well. Jocelyn, any closing thoughts on Mr. Secret Pally here?
No, I think it's a little bit too inconsistent to stay at the top. I'm on board with you guys. I think that we're gonna see it fall down a little bit. I haven't played too much of it. I tried it. I don't love it as much as I loved the old aggro pally. So I mean, I've just totally fallen in love with like Handlock and sorry guys, but Patron, and then the Hunter deck that I've been playing. Like I'm having a lot of fun trying out some new stuff and learning a bunch of stuff this season. So I don't know. Secrets Pally just doesn't do it for me. Maybe I need to try teching in that eye for an eye.
Yeah, and if you want to see a deck list for the for the aggro version, we have a link to that in the show notes as well. Podcast listeners, head on over to amove.tv/TAC and check it out. Now, let's take a crazy game story.
Has the whole world gone crazy?
You're in trouble now.
You got it!
You can send your crazy game stories to tacpodcast@gmail.com. Ours today comes from Bob T. Skull. Hey, patron Bob T. Skull, also Dresden reference. I love you. He says, "What's up, mother cluckers? I am playing Crypt's Midrange Hunter, and I am playing against a Patron, like the Tequila Warrior."
Yes.
He even put in like the Tequila. Turn 8, I have 25 health, 2 Houndmasters, and a buffed up King Zelek with only 1 health left. The warrior has 17 health, his Death's Bite with only 1 durability left. I drop 2 Mad Scientists and equip my Eaglehorn Bow and swing at face to drop his total down to 14. Here is where it gets fun. He starts by putting down Warsong Commander, an Unstable Ghoul, and a Frothing Berserker, and I get a bad feeling. Then he whirlwinds, killing my Elec and buffing his Berserker to 10. Then he runs his Unstable Ghoul into one of my Houndmasters, killing the Ghoul and whirlwinding the board. Berserker goes to 18. This whirlwind kills both of my Mad Scientists and pulls the only secret that I have left in my deck. He then swings with Death's Bite at my face, taking me down to 21 health, and out pops my bear. Another whirlwind kills the final Houndmaster and buffs his Berserker to 22 attack, with one little old bear sitting between him and victory for my opponent. He sits there for a few seconds and then concedes. Felt
Nice.
great that the Patron Warrior deck came to a screeching halt at one little bear. Just had to share my favorite victory I ever had. Keep up the great show, guys. Can't wait for the bonus show a week. Happy 100. Forever clucking, Bob the Skull.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, when patrons screw up, it's awesome. It's hilarious to watch. And I had one the other day. I tweeted about it. I'll see if I can find the tweet. But I've been playing this this Control Warrior deck that is essentially, we were calling it Concede Warrior, because I never actually kill you. I just kill all your stuff and build up so much armor that everyone's just like, nope, I'm just not going to win this game, I guess. And I was playing as the Patron, and he did the similar type that he went off. He was already out of cards. This was his last thing. He gets me down to 1 health, and I play the card Revenge. So I play that and just kills everything on the board. And then I say, sorry that happened, and he concedes. But it's so fun when the Patron screws up.
Yeah. And by the way, give the Berserker some slack. He's calling it one little bear. Dills, if you were about to win something and a bear was between an actual bear
It's a freaking grizzly
was
bear,
between
man.
you and whatever it was you had to win, I don't think you'd be so keen to just be like, oh, it's just one bear. It's just I can take out this one bear.
Oh, come on. It's not even as big as Misha.
By the way, my Golden Hunter now. Golden Hunter. I played an arena run last night. I had 2 animal companions, and I think I got Huffer like 12 out of 13 times I played animal companion.
Wow.
And I kept saying in the stream, I was like, now that I'm Golden Hunter, this is the rule. This Blizzard told me you always get Huffer now, and it's just literally I would say the joke, and then boom, Huffer. It's awesome.
You just hear the little pig sound that I can't do.
Yeah.
There
I
you
don't know, it's not like that, but whatever. But it was awesome, yeah. So
Lovely.
if you want to get Huffers 100% of the time, or 99.9,
Get
get
a-
that Golden Hunter.
Get yeah, 200
Just
wins,
get gold.
200 ranked
Yep.
wins with Hunter. All right, let's wrap this up with some emails.
Hello.
Hello, it's me.
Hello.
Just quickly, do you get my message?
Yep.
Oh,
Hello, brother.
You guys think after Legion is released, he might say "Hello again, brother" or something like that? Just a little
yeah,
Easter egg,
okay.
just to as a nod to hey, Illidan's back because reasons.
Yeah. He's like, hey, hello, brother, and we're friends again. What's up? we'll see. Yeah.
Hey, I know I tried
I'm
to
gonna
like.
save everyone this time.
I know I tried to like kill you all and like the Burning
Let's just
Legion.
forget that,
and
though.
But I was just mad because you stole my chick, dude. So now I'm cool.
I had like
I'm over
I did
it.
the demon thing for us.
yeah, I had like a bunch of blood elf slaves and some giant demons guarding my front gate. But we're cool, right, bro? We're cool.
Yeah. I was like talking about that Illidan story, and I was like, this is if you think about it, it's like the worst story. He got mad because he got friend zoned, and then he just like went and like killed a bunch of people. Like, what is that?
Well-
Who does that?
Kind of.
People who have access to cosmic magical powers.
True, but
Like, you know
originally
those
he wanted
really-
to get it on with Tyrande,
all right,
and it didn't happen. And
You know those really angsty Facebook messages or like status updates you made after a bad break? Okay, you're a little older. MySpace? Okay, maybe. All right.
MySpace
That really
yeah, my top 8.
Yeah.
I had
You're really
I moved
angsty
my girlfriend down out of
hand-
the top 8.
handwritten
God.
note. Okay, so that you poured so much malice and anger into like that handwritten note that you handed her to just really hammer it home how mad you were and
Yeah.
yada yada yada. Now imagine, sir, you're like a warlock and you could eat a skull and gain demon powers. How
I mean,
it's
I
kind
don't
of
know,
relative.
man. I've had some pretty bad breakups, so I've never wanted to gouge my eyes out and try to find power in an orb.
That's because you didn't know.
He didn't gouge his own eyes out. I don't think that was really
Okay.
a choice. That was a punishment.
Yeah, all right.
I'm just saying that it's all about the level. He's at a certain level, because he's a magical being, and since you are not, that.
Well, it's also like, well, Dan's a terrible influence. He's the
Oh
worst.
yeah,
Right,
He's
exactly.
wrecked everyone.
Yeah.
You all have had that friend. It's like, oh, she broke up. Let's go to 12 strip clubs tonight, not go to sleep, man. Like that's what Gul'dan was, but a soul-sucking warlock. Okay, so again,
Yeah.
it's all about the scenario you're in at the time.
Yeah. Imagine if your buddy's trying to make you drink the blood of Mannoroth.
Yeah,
That's kind of what's going on here.
yeah.
But yeah.
When you're not a warlock, your buddy just says, hey, here's a Jaeger bomb. When you are a warlock, your buddy says, hey, here's some demon blood. Let's go commit genocide. So. I love how much fun you're
man.
having with this, Jocelyn.
Well, the funny thing is that me and Garrett are probably both like butchering the crap out of this lore, and Jocelyn's just like laughing about it.
I'm like, I'm trying so hard not to just go full lore nerd.
Do it.
No, it's fine.
are-
You guys are doing all right.
Are you not listening to the conversation we just had?
This is
It
the
was
time.
the
to become
go commit genocide thing that just.
Did anyone else watch the Heroes qualifiers this weekend and just wanted to rip their ears off anytime Tasteless or Artosis said Tyrande because they said Tyrande?
Oh no.
It was
Did
driving
you
me
tweet
nuts.
about that? I think I saw something.
I did. I'm like, who's Tyrande
Yeah.
or Tyrande? And
People have their own ways to pronounce this.
Oh, I know.
Keeps calling it Kraken.
oh, dude,
Calling
I
it the
still
North Sea
can't.
Kraken.
I still can't beat Medivh out of my head because it's what I always called him back in the day. Even though I know it's Medivh, I get it, guys. It's just you're in your own head. That's just what I always thought it was called, even though I know it says it in Warcraft 3 at one point. I thought it was Medivh.
That's not the
Or
point.
Medivh.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
remembers that.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was in high school. Warcraft 3 came out. Yeah, I don't remember that stuff. I was too busy
I was
trying
too
to.
busy getting high, man.
I wish I was that interesting in high school. Anyways, don't do drugs, kids. You can send your emails to tacpodcast@gmail.com. Our first one today comes to us from Andromos, and it's actually from the Reddit, which is over at tacpodcast.reddit.com. And Andromos says, I've noticed ranked play has become an increasing slog for me in recent months, even at lower levels, and I was curious if anyone else is having a similar experience. So he's talking specifically about rank 16 to 25, he says, is still the primeval chaos it's always been, but between 10 and 15 feels harder to me, closer to what ranks 5 and 10 were several months ago. It's not that I have huge losing streaks, but I seem to be in a win a game, lose a game cycle, and there's definitely less room for mistakes, even at lower levels. I suppose it makes sense. Time passes, and so more and more people get experience playing the game, earning better cards, making better decks, etc. It just seems to be accelerating much more quickly lately, which I find intriguing, and yes, maybe a little intimidating. And I think he hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, man. He answered his own email.
He kind of did, but at the same time, I think that the introduction of rewards is pushing a lot of people to try and push that little extra bit higher. I think before, a lot of people just kind of went, well, there's not a huge difference in, whether I make it to rank 19 or whether I make it to rank 1. Just, your 10 bonus gold for getting all those wins. But now there's a significant difference between rank 19 and rank 1 because you have your, golden cards and all of your rewards and stuff that you didn't have a couple months ago. So I think that rewarding players for pushing higher on rank is making everyone go into super tryhard mode.
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it as well. But I think you made really good points that as the game has just been around for a really long time now. So even the people who are rank 10 to 15, 5 to 10, these are people who know how to play the game. So they were spending a good amount of time playing it. They probably have enough cards to make the very tuned version of the deck. So yeah, I think over time this is just going to keep happening until they start actually cycling cards in and out, where everyone has to relearn the new meta when old cards don't exist and it's pretty much all new cards. It's just gonna it's gonna be small adjustments to existing really strong decks, and they're gonna get more and more streamlined. So kind of sucks, but it's also good.
Yeah,
I think it's good. Yeah,
no, I've definitely been in the same boat. I mean, I've I've not had as much time to play as I used to. So the past couple of seasons, I got to rank 15. It was kind of just I'm good. I'm gonna do my dailies every day, and I'll just play arena here and there, and that was kind of it. And then I guess I touched on it earlier, Jocelyn, when you were defending Flare. I've started being a lot better about tracking my games. And I really haven't had any more time to play, but this season, we're only halfway through the month, and I'm already rank 11. And I think it's because I'm tracking my games a lot closer. So if I have one tip for you, Andromos, I don't know how to pronounce that name. It's just ridiculous. I keep wanting to call him Andromenus, and there's not enough consonants in there. But
I would recommend, if you think that ranked is becoming a slog, definitely tracking your games is going to help you. You want to pick up Hearthstone Deck Tracker. That's the actual.
Yeah, that's exactly what I use.
It tells you the cards you still got left in your deck and what cards the opponents played. It really helps, and it makes, and then you get your win rates afterwards, so you can really kind of tell this isn't working, and you can make a new version, and that one wins a little more, and you're like, oh, this is working. So helps you make adjustments.
I went on a real bad losing streak, even with the Dragon Priest, which has been doing so well for me this season. But I got kind of on tilt. I walked away for an hour, and I came back, and I looked at my win ratio, and I'm like, I'm still over 65% with this deck. It's fine. It's totally fine. I'm just, I got to get my head on straight and get back in this.
Yeah.
So.
And if you can have that moment of oh, it's fine. It feels bad, but it's fine.
Exactly.
You're not just basing everything on emotionally how it feels. And it sounds like Andromos here is everything's it feels like a slog, and you might be able to prove to yourself it's not as bad as it feels by tracking as well. So
feels bad, bro.
Yeah.
Feels
But
bad.
it can feel good, man. It can. It's so good.
Yeah. So, next email, Dills.
Oh, this is from Chris, who says, "Hey, annoyed avians. Would just like to hear your take on the role of RNG in tournament play. After watching the ATLC all weekend, I felt really bad for players during some of the games. Lore Walker Cho from a Shredder winning the game versus Hyped really just made me question how Hearthstone can continue going forward as a competitive game. Unlike a game like poker where you can simply fold when the luck isn't with you, you're kind of all in every game, especially in a tournament format. Thanks." I'm going to disagree a little bit. I think like a Lore Walker Cho from a Shredder is hilarious and fun for everybody else. Sure, it might make a guy win or lose, but you can't. And I don't agree with the comparison to poker, because in poker you go all in with your ace, and then the guy calls you with, Queen Jack, and then beats you because he gets a straight or whatever. There's RNG in that too. That's
Right.
really, really RNG. So
Imagine you were playing with like all cards that were just vanilla cards that just had attack and health value. You could still get into the same thing because I just felt bad because this guy just drew so poorly. And if it's a card game, if you shuffle the cards, there's RNG. There's going to be RNG. Yes,
there's RNG,
Hearthstone has it more because of cards like this, but I get what he's saying, and I'm kind of on board with him. But on the other hand, like you said, Dills, it's hilarious, and I kind of love seeing that stuff, and it's part of what I think makes Hearthstone such a good spectator game.
No, and Ben Brode has made the very same point that it's actually, a skillful thing to be able to do when a Lore Walker Cho comes out. Like, oh, okay, I got to change my plan. My plan that I had previously was based around the average of a 2/2 coming out of this thing, and now I have a 0/4 that's going to copy any spell I play. So I better figure something out. And so maybe he's in a bad spot because he doesn't have the cards to deal with it, but a good player might be able to navigate through that situation, and it can be really interesting to watch.
Yeah.
And we're not watching chess,
No,
and chess games are over after like 2 turns because both players know exactly what's going to happen the whole rest of the game, and that's not really interesting unless you're super into chess. But this is a game there's a reason why this game's like 3rd all the time on Twitch, and the tournaments are getting like these huge things. And I don't think you can't discount RNG as actually being a fun thing for most people, and it's fun.
I love that you
make fun of it.
I love that you just boiled down chess to competitive fate. 2 turns are taken, and it has been decreed.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I just moved my first pawn. You're like, damn. Well, good game, man. But it is. I mean, like, if you've ever watched grandmasters play chess, it's like after a few moves, they're like, oh, he's going into the Manhattan Open where it's blah blah blah, and you're like, all right, man. And then every turn from there plays out exactly like he thought it was going to.
I need a bumper for Dills grossly oversimplifies something he's not knowledgeable about.
I'm not a grandmaster. Sorry. I don't think there's a Manhattan Open, but
It'd be really cool if there was, though.
It sounded uppity. I don't know. But
I mean, on the flip side of that coin, there are scenarios where Lore Walker, like you said, Lore Walker Cho comes out and there's just nothing you can do about it, and you lose the game.
Sure.
But I do feel like a lot of. Sorry, go ahead, Jocelyn.
I was just gonna say the part of this email that I actually really liked, or I like the idea behind it, was the part where he was saying in poker you can just fold when you have a bad hand. Like if you get dealt a bad hand in Hearthstone, you're in that game. There's nothing. The only thing that's going to happen if you fold is you lose, and that's it. It has so much more impact than a hand in a poker tournament. So I found that really kind of interesting, and I was wondering, do you guys have any kind of thoughts on maybe changing the way we do tournaments? I mean, I know they would run way longer, but even Conquest format where you have to win with 3 decks, it seems like even best of 5 isn't enough to kind of counteract that. If you get dealt a bad hand, you just lose.
I mean, I definitely liked the ATLC format, but it was also really long. It was hard.
It was really long,
if you didn't have the time to sit down and watch even one series all the way through, let alone this entire long-form tournament. And that's personally, I see that as something I think esports needs to wrestle with across the board, is making whatever your tournament is something that's digestible. Because even think about traditional sports. So you sit down for like 3 to 4 hours, watch a football game. A lot of these tournaments go all day on Saturday.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, for those of us who are in our early 20s and early 30s, that's something you can do. But there comes a time in everyone's life where you just can't do that. So
and the thing, okay, so like again, like I think with the poker thing, yeah, you can fold with a bad hand, but there's times where with the best hand you just lose because they call it a cold deck. You just can't win. You have the best possible starting hand, and then the guy plays the other 5 cards, and you're like, oh, I lose, but I had to go all in, like, because that's the correct thing to do. So, like, that's fine. That's just part of the deal. Like, that's when you sign up to play a game like this, you sign up to play in a tournament. You understand that it's possible you might get really unlucky, but it's also possible you might get really lucky and win games you're not supposed to. So, I think it's fine.
Now, everyone, please hold on to your pants for just a second. Don't send in emails. Magic just changed its mulligan rule, updated it to make games more consistent, and they're having good success with it. So maybe down the road, mulligans get tweaked or adjusted in Hearthstone. At the moment, I don't really think it needs to be, and I'm not sure what I would suggest.
I wouldn't mind seeing some sort of a mulligan change at some point, or so the ability to like decide if I want to use tournament mulligans or ladder mulligan or something like that at some point. I think you're right. We don't need it now, but if you had one more card for each player, the openings wouldn't matter as much, and generally you'd have better opens. But yeah, like even in like sports where you don't think there's RNG, there's freaking RNG, man. Like the Warriors were lucky nobody got hurt through an entire season, and they won the whole thing. And everyone was just like, but LeBron, all his players were hurt. It's like, well, RNG, dude. Sorry, Laura Cho popped out of your shredder. And then like baseball, there's a thing called BABIP, which is your batting average on balls in play. And sometimes the team that wins the World Series just happen to have like a really good BABIP, which really just means when I hit the ball, how often does it actually get me a hit? And sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean like we hit it better. It just went into holes. And we're swinging a thing at a thing coming 90 miles an hour. Like anything can happen. It just so happened that mine was a hit and yours went right to the shortstop. So it's RNG and everything, and it's like almost like exhausting to like just have to keep talking about it for so long. When it's just it's here. Like it's here, you guys.
Deal with
Yeah,
it.
people get on us all the time for talking about the things that Hearthstone is not and what we wish it would be. So one of the things that definitely is involves RNG. So move on. Please, for the love of God, if it bothers you that much.
This will be the last RNG email ever.
I'm going
No, it
to
won't.
tell
No, it won't.
I'm gonna tell RNG haters the thing everyone tells me when I bring up Magic. Go play Magic if you don't like it that much.
It's here. It's here, and it's not going anywhere. And Ben Brode has made his view on it very clear. And yeah, maybe you don't like Hearthstone. Maybe you don't like watching it, but 100,000 people were watching ATLC finals, so I don't know.
Somebody
to me,
likes
that's
Hearthstone.
Now,
Yeah, to me, that's like a
75,000
bigger-
of those were trolls that typed esports anytime RNG happened.
yeah.
But
and they had fun doing it too.
yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
Like making fun of it is fun for a lot of people. So it's I don't know, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's
and I'm not trying to say that it shouldn't be a discussion had about this, especially as new cards come out. I think there's definitely a discussion to be had whether there is or is not too much RNG, but it's definitely a cornerstone of Hearthstone. I don't want to see it go away. And one of the things that you brought up, Dills, that I feel like a lot of people constantly overlook and completely leave out because they say, "Oh, RNG removes skill from the game," and it's like, no. Yes, the person who played the piloted shredder and got something awesome out of it, it had no skill really involved for the player who played piloted shredder, but it introduces a lot of skill that needs to be shown by the opponent to deal with whatever came out of the shredder.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's people who are really, really good at blackjack, and people who are really, really good at poker, and people who are really good at craps. People who are really good at, fixing the RNG in their favor and figuring out how to, harness that and manipulate it just the right way to be really good at it and make more money than the other guy. And the other guy's going, it's just a crapshoot. And that guy's going, yeah, I love that you think it's just a crapshoot because I could just keep raking in the dollars over here while you don't understand how to harness RNG.
Right.
And so, It does add skill.
And
It does.
if the game was truly as bad as some of the naysayers make it out to be, we would not have pro players that consistently place high in tournaments.
Yeah, and I also think like there are a lot of RNG cards, but they didn't all make it into. They're not all in competitive decks. You know what I mean? Like you're not seeing a bunch of Joust cards being played in tournament decks because the competitive player, like Piloted Shredder's RNG, is fine and acceptable because of the value that card gives you. So that's like one of the only real examples you're seeing of, you know, I mean, sure, like Boombots and whatever, but
Unstable
unless
Portal.
the RNG is giving you like a big amount of value, you're not going to see just these pure RNG cards. Like you're not seeing, whatchamacallit anymore, like Sneed's Old Shredder. You're not seeing Sneed's Old Shredder anymore, really. You know, I mean, that was fun for a little while, but competitive players are looking for an edge, and they're going to take the ones that work for them more often.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we've talked on this long enough, and I kind of just want to bookend it here and save it for another day. Jocelyn, next email?
This one I actually thought came from you, Garrett, because it threw me right off. This one comes to us from Saint.
Oh,
I no longer have that as my handle, but yeah, cool.
I know, but I was just like, Garrett, throwback. So this one comes to us from Saint. He says, Dills Garrett and the so hot Jocelyn. An idea was sent by a previous listener in regards to having a card back that showed your best ever rank. Playing off that idea, perhaps there could be titles added to the game like they have in WoW. Titles could be for achieving high ranks that would mirror the rank's name. For example, if the best rank a person got was 20, they could be so-and-so, the shield bearer. If their rank was 14, they could be Dave, the raid leader, and so on. This would work in a bubble by itself, just consistently showing the title with the person's name and could be done with it. Or it could open the door to an extra feature that would be a list of selectable titles that was achievement-based, which is where I think this email just goes amazingly awesome. So all ranks earns would be selectable. New achievement titles could be added. Some would be easy, some harder. For example, if you win a game with 5 dragons on board, you could earn the title Dragon Lord Steve. If you win 5 jousts in a game, you could earn the title Grand Champion Jessica. If you win a game as a druid like Malfurion, either you or your opponent plays Illidan, earns you Brother Steven, etc. I feel this would lead to the completionist and most of us to get to work. Even the casual players could find something they like in addition to their name. I'm sure you guys would each sport the rank of 25, the Angry Chicken, for a while, as would a lot of the fans out here. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what achievements titles you could come up with. I love this idea. I think it would be so cool to have selectable titles tied to things like random little achievements in the game. I think that that's one thing that Hearthstone, or I would like to see Hearthstone do a little bit more of, is achievements, just because I freaking love achievements in every single game that I do.
It's a game that seems like it would just marry perfectly to an achievement system, and I cannot believe it's not already in there. I mean, we kind of do. There are kind of meta achievements, like getting the
But they're
legendary
so
Murloc.
hidden. It's like randomly you win 1,000 games, and it's like, da-da-da, achievement. You're like,
you're not working
where
towards
can I
it.
even see that I have this achievement?
Yeah, like that's kind of, I feel like there's a huge oversight and it's poor design, because one of the great things about achievements is that if you can see it, if it's transparent, it's now a goal. It's now gamified. It's something you can work towards. If you can't do any of the things I just said, then it's a dumb system.
So yeah, I would really like them to. I'd like to see them do more with achievements, and I think titles could be perfect because there's so much space on that side of the screen. Like it's not like it would be a huge change to the UI to just add another line of text above your name. I think that this would be so cool.
Titles
I want to be a Dragon Lord so badly, and I didn't even know until I read this email.
Oh man, yeah, no. Titles are one of my favorite things in World of Warcraft. It's one of the things I really like collecting. That and like non-combat pets, or I guess now they are combat pets.
Now
but,
they are, yeah.
back in my day, they were non-combat pets because there wasn't a Pokemon ripoff in my World of Warcraft.
Technically, they're companion pets, Garrett.
Excuse me, Jocelyn. Jeez. Actually, why don't we just add non-combat pets to Hearthstone too? Have it sitting on your side of the board.
There
Be
you go.
adorable. You can click on it. Does things.
Why
You
don't
can sit
we
right
just
on top
make
of
it
your little
WoW?
rank. Yeah.
Yeah.
just turn it
Can I
into WoW.
one up this suggestion? I would be
Yes.
even more excited about having a title in Hearthstone if, when you log into a game and the innkeeper says your hero's name, that it adds the title either to the beginning or the end of it, depending on what the title is. So imagine, win 100 tavern brawls, get the bar fighter title. So it's just like, Rexar versus Bar Fighter Jaina. Like, that'd be amazing. I'd be so in on that. I would play so much more Hearthstone to collect as many of these damn things as I could.
I like it.
That's kind of the thing that they seem to be aiming for, is giving people more and more ways and reasons to play. We saw them add the rewards to rank. We got new Tavern Brawl mode, and I feel like achievements and titles would be something that would get more people in playing more Hearthstone, because and maybe it's just because I'm a completionist and I'm totally in love with achievements, but I would be doing this so much, and it would get me to play things that I never play. Like, if there was something super cool, like Jocelyn Stabby McStabberson for playing a ton of Rogue, I would probably go play Rogue, because I just, like, if it was a really cool title, I would do something I wouldn't normally do just to get that achievement.
I think the achievement for that would have to be win a game with Poison Blade in your deck.
Okay, now you're bringing up the point I was going to make, which is I'm totally okay with this, but please don't make me do stuff in ranked that's going to make me, like, lose games because I'm trying to get an achievement. So to do it, you got to
always flip to casual.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think if they do stuff like that, it should say, like, in casual mode, like, or just allow it to be done.
Allow it to be complete, yeah.
Whatever. But because I also don't want to play against other people who are just trying to get an achievement, and so their game is, like, really weird and awkward, and, like, there's something else going on in my ladder play that's, like, not just trying to ladder, right? Like, I don't know if you guys, we talked about World of Warcraft. You guys are familiar with what's called Children's Week?
Yep.
Yes.
That's when everybody
PvP.
brings
That's when
the little
Battlegrounds.
guy into Eye of the Storm, and it's just like, hey, I'm just trying to run in here and hold the flag to get my achievement. And you're like, yeah, well, I'm trying to win the friggin' PvP battleground. So can you not, please? Like,
You're the guy that
is annoying.
You're the guy that takes the gold at the end of this quest, aren't you? Because personally, I find that week to be kind of fun. It's a kind of an injection of.
But it's only a week. Now let's imagine that throughout the entire
if what you
year,
do-
random people are coming into your battlegrounds and, like, not trying to win and playing really weird. It would kind of suck. So
Yeah.
all I'm saying is let's temper this by not changing, like allow it to be done in casual. I love
I
the
think
idea, but you got to be
would-
careful with stuff like this.
Yeah, I think it would probably be, or at least the way that I see it, because obviously this isn't Blizzard's idea, but the way I see it is it would be just like Quest, that you can complete it in any competitive mode where you're playing against a player you don't choose. So whether it's a brawl, whether it's casual, whether it's ranked, your choice, you just can't complete achievements when you're challenging friends, which makes perfect sense to me. Because
And
then
we
you could
talked
just,
about this about, like, heroes too. I can't remember where I talked about this, but it was the same type of thing. It was like, I love the idea of achievements, but dude, if there's one guy on my team running off into the woods to, like, kill a bunch of bushes while we're trying to all win the battle, that's gonna piss me off. So, like, just make sure that it doesn't interfere with the actual play. Like in World of Warcraft, it's fine because you run off by yourself and you do achievements, right? And it doesn't affect anybody but you. But when you're talking like a competitive game, 1-on-1, or in the case of Heroes, 5-on-5, and, like, everyone has to, like, do, like, I don't know, has to work, you have to be careful with this kind of stuff. So I love this idea. The ranked ones obviously would never interfere with anything. Winning a certain amount of tavern brawls, whatever, playing Rogue a certain amount of times, all that kind of stuff is great. But just don't be like, put Goldshire Footman in your deck and get to rank 5. Like, just don't put that kind of stuff in. You know what I mean? That's all. That's all I got to say about that. Right.
I don't see the problem with any of that. Because I'm going to win against those decks, and it's fine.
Yeah, but you, like, yeah, all right.
we see your point.
I
Or
don't
at least
want
I see what you're
No, it's a good point to bring up. But really, the point is, before going off crazy rails, like, just put an achievement. I feel like an achievement system is warranted. It seems like the type of game that would really work well with it, and it would bring a little more fun, a little more gamification to the daily grind of Hearthstone.
And I'm not poo-pooing the idea of achievements. I'm just saying, like, gotta be careful in games like this. You gotta be careful. Like, that's why they work so well in, like, World of Warcraft and Diablo, right? Because you just run off and do stuff by yourself.
I think the achievement for winning a game with Goldshire Footman in your deck should be you get the title Dills.
No, you get the title Anti-Dills, because Dills would never do that. I would never put a Goldshire Footman.
Listen, Team 5.
Any deck I run.
Team 5. I know you guys like me more than Dills. Please do this. Thank you. Well, that's. I think that's going to do it for this week's episode. Sorry for being a day late, everyone, but thanks for moving with us. I don't know. Thanks for listening. Thanks again to our patrons over at patreon.com/TAC. Also, thanks to those of you who are leaving us reviews in the iTunes store. Thank you this week to Dr. Twick, very disappointed, who ironically enough left us a 5-star review. MNav3, Albs with a bunch of numbers, and Barrett91. Thank you guys again for dropping us 5-star reviews. Really appreciate it. And if you listen to us on iTunes and you haven't left us a review, please go and do so. As always, The Angry Chicken is produced by amove.tv, Frogman Studios, and our Patreon producers, Declan H, LVE, and Topher L. Thank you, guys. All of our past live shows and other videos can be found on youtube.com/amovetv, or t-shirts on /loot.com. Follow us on Twitter at TAC Podcast, on Facebook /amovetv, and on Reddit at tacpodcast.reddit.com. We record live on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern now. Usually, this week was a fluke, but whatever. But go there and, twitch.tv/AMOVTV, Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern now, folks. We're also on Alpha Geek Radio. Check us out there. And check out Brian Griffith. He made our intro music. His website is briangriffithmusic.com. Dills, where can folks find you?
You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Willie Dills. You can also check out my Twitch stream, which has, we've been having some fun, man. We're having a lot of fun in my Twitch stream lately.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do on a Twitch stream?
Yeah, but some people don't. Some people get salty and stuff, and that's annoying. But I don't.
That's why I don't stream. I'm a salty gamer.
Go check me out. It's twitch.tv/WillieDillsSF. We play mostly Hearthstone, but some Heroes, some other stuff. And then once I get a new rig going, we'll be playing a lot of other games as well. So check that out. The Instance World of Warcraft podcast is Fridays at 9 a.m. Pacific. Stormcast is a show in a very suddenly healthy field of Heroes of the Storm podcasts out there.
Yeah.
Scott Johnson's starting one too. The Core or something like that, right? That's kind of cool.
There was a time where Scott would start a show about a topic I was doing a show about, and I felt like I should just stop doing the show.
That time is past.
I was a younger podcaster then, and I didn't realize that. You know what?
To understand, he's gonna do that for everything.
There's
he's
room
just
to
always gonna
breathe.
start a show.
Yeah, there's room to breathe, and there's room for more than one show about a topic on the internet. So
absolutely. So check out Stormcast. We're Sundays at 8 p.m. Pacific time, and then if you're a mediocre golfer, MGAtour.com is the place for you.
Jocelyn, how about yourself?
You can find me on Twitter at Joss Plays. Twitch channel is the same. I've been streaming a whole lot lately, having a ton of fun too. Doing all kinds of stuff, actually. Just finished up doing Until Dawn, which was the most terrifying experience of my life and gave me nightmares, but it's all up on YouTube now, so you can watch the replay. We also have the Gamers In every Wednesday night on AMove TV, and I just wanted to remind everyone again about Taco this weekend. So again, it is Saturday and Sunday. We are casting the finals Sunday night at 7 p.m. and that is right here on AMove TV as well. But yeah, so if you haven't signed up, go check amove.tv or go check the Angry Chicken Twitter, and you can find the links to go sign up for the tournament. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody this weekend.
Hells yeah. You can find me on Twitter at GarrettArt, nomoonart.com for my graphic design portfolio. If you don't already have too many Heroes shows to look at or listen to, you should go check out Into the Nexus with me and Kyle Ferguson. And I'd also like to promote my new solo show, The Angry Nerd, where I talk about whatever the hell I feel like. And you can't tell me otherwise. But you can suggest it. A lot of people suggested cool topics this week. Already got a bunch of emails in. Thank you for that, guys. But you can find the show at amove.tv/angrynerd. Check it out. Talked a lot about Metal Gear Solid this week. That game is fun. Damn fun. Check out our sponsors, doghousesystems.com. Use the code TAC to get a free solid-state drive added onto your Doghouse system. So go do that, because it's an awesome computer. It's an awesome drive, and we may get supported every single time that code is used. Full disclosure, we're not just giving out codes because we're nice people. But we are also nice people who happen to be giving out codes.
Mm-hmm.
Not mutually exclusive. There you go. Yeah. So that's going to do it for this week's show. We will see you next week for episode 105, shortly after for the patron hangout episode. But until then, job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yes! Oh, boy.